My name is Richard Schuetz, and I am the owner of Schuetz LLC, a gaming consultant firm.
So for those that might not know, can you tell us a little bit about what Schuetz LLC does?
Well, right now, a lot lately, I've been spending time overseas, and that's mainly been visiting with people about how to enter the U.S. market. With respect to, I have quite an extensive background in California, and that has taken a lot of interest, and I'm getting a lot of inquiries with respect to what's going on in California, which is kind of the dominant question right now because of the size of that state.
You've got quite an extensive experience in the industry. Can you tell us how you first became involved in sports betting, and are there any particular career highlights that stand out?
Well, I needed to pay for my college, and so I went to college during the day, and at 9 o'clock at night I'd go to work and deal cards in the casino and get off at 5 in the morning. And I did that for several years. I then, during my undergraduate and master's, I then left to do my PhD work at the University of Utah because I wanted to be a college professor, and I ended up writing a dissertation on gambling. But then when I went to be a teacher, I found out I made about half as much money as I did as a dice dealer. So I went screaming back to the industry, and I've had the opportunity to live and work in Las Vegas. I've been up to a CEO of a Las Vegas casinos and had the opportunity to experience a lot of things there. I used to oversee the biggest book in Las Vegas, which was the Stardust book, the Stardust was the casino featured in the movie Casino, and that was kind of interesting. And when those bad guys left, I was brought in to kind of add a white hat to that whole process. And I've had the opportunity to work for Mr. Wynn, Mr. Adelson, Bill Hara, and a great many people. I've had the opportunity to teach in China. I've had the opportunity to live in Switzerland and across the US. I've been involved in tribal. It just goes on and on. I published about 150 articles in gambling. I think I'm the most read person in North America with regards to global gaming business and things of that sort.
And you mentioned California. Now that's quite a complicated story. Can you walk us through why that is?
Well, I have quite a bit of background. A lot of people are running around right now arguing that they know a lot about California, and I think basically what their background is, they visited Disneyland once. I was appointed twice by the governor as a commissioner in California. I was the consultant to the governor's office on iGaming, and I was the consultant to the Senate on iGaming. I also have a great deal of familiarity with the tribal environment. A lot of people don't understand that California is the largest gaming state in the United States. A lot of people would argue that it's Nevada, and it's not. And that's across all verticals, like a lottery, the horse racing, the card rooms, and the tribal casinos. And right now, it looks like there could be as many as 4 ballot initiatives next November in 2022 about gambling. Many of them are conflicting. We're estimating about $200 million is going to be spent on that effort, and that's one of the things I'm talking about on a panel here. And it's a very complicated story. I was invited to Malta last July to speak on this topic, and it was a 3-hour lecture, and that just gives you some insight. And I mean, it's a terrible death to be talked to death, but that gives you some insight as to the complexity of the issue, the relationships between the tribe and the government, and the tribes and the card rooms. And now we have the outside interests with the FanDuels and DraftKings of the world that want to play in a market that's going to be huge. It's 40 million people, just short of 40 million people. It has the 5th highest gross domestic product in the world. It has a bigger gross domestic product than the UK or India, and a lot of people don't understand that. It has 200 million visitors. So anything up to that point in time is going to be dwarfed by California if it goes legal.
You mentioned that there's kind of up to 4 ballot initiatives coming up in November.
Right.
Can we expect California to legalize in the next few years, or do you think?
That question was asked me in Malta 2 weeks ago. I don't know. And I think anybody that pretends that they know the answer to that question is really delusional. This is a complicated thing. There's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars spent on advertising, and it's hard to predict what's going to happen. There's been some polls out, but they've been crummy polls. It's like, would you like gambling in your neighborhood if it pays for school and you don't have to pay taxes and it makes you live to 200? I mean, just crazy polls. They're really biased in terms of trying to solicit an outcome. It's going to be interesting to watch. The tribes have been involved in California in 6 different initiatives. They have been successful in 5 of those. And so you don't want to sell this tribe short. They're very effective. They have 109 tribes in California. You have 75% of the tribal employees are not tribal people, so they're pretty much ingrained with their communities. But when you get entities like DraftKings who have just absolutely almost a lack of respect for cash, they will burn it and incinerate it at incredible rates. You know, I mean, they just spend like it's going out of style. It's hard to guess what's going to happen because advertising can move the needle on these things.
Why did you choose to attend SBC Summit North America?
Well, this is where it's at right now. I mean, all the energy and all the oxygen in the gaming space, you know, we're not talking about brick and mortar casinos or anything like that. We're talking about sports betting. So this is the show. I was invited to come here and speak, and I couldn't say no. You know, this is where it's at right now.